So welcome everybody. Welcome to Supermicro Innovate in Geneva 2022. I am so happy to be part of this experience. For those that don't know me, and I see lots of friends here in the crowd, some that I haven't met, and please search me out, find me, let's talk. For those that don't know me, I'm Don Clegg, head of sales for Supermicro, and it is my pleasure to kick the show off with the welcome remarks and to introduce the speakers as we talk today on some of the key highlights. So, as I point, there we go. Welcome. So we have, it's exciting, we're live streaming the event, which is really cool if you want to be able to go back and look at some of the breakout sessions that you may not have been able to attend. We have over 100 companies and representatives from our customers, our partners, our sponsors. It's a really important industry event. This is where we get to be close as partners and share information that's going to make us even more successful in the marketplace. And my presentation's not over, but I wanted to put a thank you in the beginning. A thank you for being our partner. A thank you for being our sponsor, our customer, our friend. The last event we had was in Berlin. I'm not sure where the next event will be, but let's have a great event today and we'll take suggestions for the next. But this is a part of many more Supermicro Innovates to come. So a big round of applause for all of our customers and partners that are here. Thank you for being here. Absolutely incredible for that. Now, it's a little bit hard to see in here, but the Supermicro sales staff is here. Can I have all Supermicro salespeople maybe just stand up so you can be seen? We do that. Thanks. Round of applause. I love our sales team. The key to be successful with Supermicro is to be close to your sales team because there are so many fantastic products. It's important that you're choosing the best solution, and that's what your salesperson is there to help with. Now, I'm excited about this event because if you notice, let's have all the product marketing, anybody technical from Supermicro, field engineers, can you stand up just for a second? All right. I want you to notice one thing. Jerry, come on over here. I'll pick on Jerry. Come on over here and stand in the light. This is unscripted. Look at the fine apparel that Jerry is wearing. When you see the Supermicro polo shirt, you'll know that you're talking to a product manager or a field engineer, someone with technical excellence in the product. They've come from our headquarters in Europe, in Holland. They've come from California, our headquarters in the Americas, our corporate headquarters, and from Taiwan. So we have product managers from all over the world. Find these guys. When you go out and see the tech showcase and see the booths or the track shows, they want to talk. They want to talk to you. Off stage, Jerry will steal the show. So, and then the marketing staff that put everything together, that worked the countless hours, and they got so many, I'll say it, stupid emails from me asking the same question 3 times. Are we going to do this? Are we going to do that? And they put up with it, and they've created the show. Can the marketing, they're probably in the other room still working. But anybody here in marketing? We have the head of marketing over there. A round of applause for marketing. Oh, there they are on the side. Thank you to the marketing team for putting this together. And the biggest round of applause that I want is, again, for our friends, our sponsors, our partners, our customers who've come from all over Europe and even farther places. And I see friends in the crowd, and thank you for being here. So let's have this one more. Let's thank everybody. All right. I am going to do just a quick introduction to kick things off. I do want to remind people that everyone here has signed an NDA, so treat it with the confidentiality that's required. I mean, no pictures of unreleased products. But the really cool thing is you get to be part of information prior to it being released to the general public. So treat it like a treasure, because it is, and that's what this event is for. Okay, better, faster, greener. You're going to hear that either directly in a presentation, or it'll just be a natural outcome of that presentation. And Supermicro is a company that's been founded on the premise of better, faster, greener. And it's one of those success stories where you build a better product and people will come, and if you continue to be better, if you continue to be faster and continue to be greener, you'll grow. So better. Better has a lot of dimensions. What does better mean? So as you see the presentations, think about it. Well, it may mean it's better because you have more choices of any particular problem you're trying to solve, more choices for solutions. Could be you get a better performance metric that you're looking for. It could be that you have a better availability, a better price. But it's about being better in every dimension. And it's also about better opportunities for business. Better opportunities for us. Again, I'm a shameless sales guy. Better opportunities for us to make money together. As partners, how do we grow our market share? So better products, better business opportunities. Faster. Faster. The obvious one in faster is fastest performance. Yeah, we have that. Absolutely we have it. And it's exciting when you see some of the products that we do. And we do it because we have better products, and whatever metric you're using, raw performance, performance per volume, performance per euro, faster products. But it has a business dimension too. It's faster growth, faster market share dominance. And if you follow Supermicro, you will see that in this time of great supply chain disruptions where you've been incredible as partners at working with us through that, you've seen that Supermicro has grown faster than the competition. And that will continue with our partnership. And then greener. This probably gives me as much pride as anything else. And when I talk to our CEO, I tell him, and I mean it in sincerity, he will be remembered for the green product that he does as much as anything else in his life. So green at Supermicro is talk, but it's not just talk. It's actual. It's real. And I want you to find those guys in the blue polo shirts or find me and challenge us. What do I mean by green being real? Green is measurable resource savings. Green is helping companies and customers and others save money as they operate the equipment, save resources by being able to reuse resources. It's real, it's measurable. And that's why I'm just so excited to be able to talk to you about our products that way. So join us today as we talk about our total IT solutions, because Supermicro has transformed from building a single component better than anyone in the world to be able to deliver an entire data center rack scale solution better than anyone in the world, and at the same time still have the component products that are there. That's a real key, is the fact that our DNA is a building block approach. We do our design, we reuse our designs, we make designs look custom because of the vast array of parts we have, and we put them together with a building block approach, and that helps us achieve the better, faster, greener. Okay, we will have a number of speakers, but maybe the most important one that I would like to, it's my pleasure to be able to introduce to you the founder of Supermicro. He has a short video that he would like to share, and this is, if anyone who's met Charles, as I watch the video, you'll just see the gleam in Charles' eyes as he talks about the future, working on products better, faster, and especially greener. So with that, I'd like to introduce a video with the founder, the president, and CEO, chairman of Supermicro, Mr. Charles Liang. So if we could roll the video, that would be great.
Good morning, my friend. It's so exciting to meet you online. You know, I really like to visit you, like to talk to you, say hello to you. But, you know, I think over and over, I'm still an engineer. The best way for me to help you, to work with you, is to design, to provide the best product, the best total solution for the market, for you, to grow business together, to make our IT industry greener, to make our Mother Earth more beautiful in the near future. That's why I decided to stay in Silicon Valley to continue focus on our many GPU product line, and they are all coming soon. The Sapphire Rapids product line, and they are all available or coming soon. The Geneva product line coming soon. So I'm so excited to share with you how strong our new solution will be for the market, for you, with you to grow together. For example, just GPU product alone, last year, we grew 120% GPU revenue year over year. And this year, you guess what? We have a triple GPU product line. Delta, Redstone, Delta Next, Redstone Next, H100, Grace Hopper, and AMD MI250, Intel Axon, Intel PVC. All are either available or will be available very soon. I'm so excited to share those product lines with you. See, GPU, for example, last year we grew 120%. And this year, I believe we have potential to grow triple revenue in GPU solution alone, including GPU platform, including rack scale, plug and play, GPU, cloud, total solution. And not just GPU, storage, telco, video streaming, edge, traditional computing solution, HPC, workstation, you name it. So this year, we truly have the strongest product line. And not just hardware, firmware, security, software, service function. So all of those are ready. And that's why we recently just extend our campus from San Jose to Morgan Hill. So we will have a new campus in Morgan Hill, a city about 1 hour from San Jose. And that campus will start function later this month. And other than that, in between Asia and Europe, we try to select another new campus. The location will be finalized in next few days or next few weeks. And it will be another big campus. The campus will be much closer to European market. And the reason why we select location there, because we want to better support European market. We want to be closer to you with much higher volume, much better product, much better total solution. So, last year we have a quick growth. And this year, I expect we will have even much faster growth compared with last year. In California today, we have more than 20% market share. In Europe, we have about a little bit less than 5% market share today. And that's why there are big room for you and Supermicro to work together to grow European market from today less than 5%. Hopefully, with you and Supermicro's effort, we can grow BV market, our total solution market share to 25% or 30%. In next 2 years, possible with our cooperation. So our sales team, our FA team, our PM team, all are here in Geneva now to work with you. And we hope to really help you to grow our green solution market share, again, from less than 5% today to more than 20% in next 2 years or 3 years. And if we can make it quicker than 2 years, that would be even better. So let's work together. Anything Supermicro, our sales, FAE, PM, supporting team can help you. Please do not feel hesitate to raise your request to our sales, our FAE, and PM. We are here in Geneva to announce that we will do whatever we can to work with you to make green computing everywhere in Europe. Green computing from our calculation. With your effort, our effort together, we should be able to make green computing everywhere within next 2 to 3 year time frame. And from our calculation, if the industry all go for green solution that we provide, you and me provide, or if the industry all provide green solution like as green as our solution, we together can save $10 billion US dollars electricity cost per year. And at the same time, we together can remove about 30 to 50 fossil fuel power plants because that's energy required. And that also equal to about we grow or preserve 8 billion tree, 8 billion mature tree. What a great achievement. What a great mission. Let's work together. Sincerely invite you and Supermicro to work together. And let's grow the market share, grow our business, and make our Mother Earth even more beautiful tomorrow in the coming soon years. Thank you so much. Really appreciate your partnership. And anything Supermicro can help you, please let us know. Thank you so much. Thank you.
I tell you what, I get excited when I hear things like saving $8 to $10 billion around the world with the efficiency from Supermicro. Being able to remove 30 to 50 fossil fuel power plants that don't have to be built, that don't have to be used if the whole world had Supermicro type designs. And Senli, Tom, Mikhail, if you're listening, 30% market share in 2 years, we can only do it with your partnership. We can only do it with your partnership. And so thanks for that. Okay, let's keep the presentations rolling. At this time, I'd like to introduce to you Vic Malyala. If you want to come up, Vic. Vic is let's get Vic's presentation up. Vic is a longtime Supermicro veteran, wears a few hats at Supermicro. He told me not to say his title, so I'm going to say his titles. He's the president of the BV office. He's a managing director. He's a head of the worldwide field engineering organization. And he's just an all-around great resource. So look for Vic when you have any questions about Supermicro. So Vic, all yours. Take it away.
Thank you, Don. I was just checking the attendees, from different geos. Then I saw almost 35 different country representation here, and it's so happy to kind of see all these familiar faces and some new faces. Counting what we have attendance from online, it's about 80 countries is what we have seen, which is pretty good. So hopefully we'll try to make good use of all your time, and it excites us to get in front of you to talk about what Supermicro has been doing, but more importantly, to listen and learn from you as to how you are seeing the market and where we see the market evolving and how Supermicro can be relevant in that market space. And when I look at this, I wanted to kind of give a snapshot of where things are, because what I have seen after talking to many of you yesterday, I think we are losing touch with the customers in the last 2 years. So we've been talking to them, sure, through Zoom calls or whatnot, but one of the things that what we have seen is nothing beats the actual face-to-face engagement. Otherwise, one has to specifically reach out to you. Typically, people reach out when? When there's a problem or when there is something that is so, happy about, right? So these are extremities, but when we are talking to people in person, opportunities we discuss, and we understand what are the pain points on both sides and how we can actually work together to create a success for both of us. And I wanted to give a quick snapshot of where things are. So if you take a look at the European presence for Supermicro, our headquarters is in Netherlands, which I'm sure you're aware. We have like 3 different, I would say, buildings in the same campus, where we have our engineering, we have our manufacturing, we have logistics, operations, field application engineering, product managers, solution managers, business development. So it's the entire replica of what we have here in US, a smaller portion of it kind of duplicated here in Netherlands. In addition to that, we have a sales office with sales, and we have field applications engineers, the product managers, BDs and all in UK as well. So these are the 2 offices that we have in Europe. So depending on who you want to talk to, where you want to meet people, these are the 2 that we can showcase in. But we do encourage you to come and visit our Netherlands facility. That gives you an idea of what investments that we have been doing in terms of our manufacturing capabilities and whatnot. So that gives you a better idea of where we are. If I were to look at what we have been doing in the last few years, especially in the last 2 years, in beefing up our capabilities to support our customers in Europe, one of the main things is that we have seen, even through pandemic, the need for the compute and need for the storage is more than before, which basically means we have to figure out a way to optimize our way of producing these products and get these products in time for all the customers and for you to enable the end users. So we needed to focus on what is our manufacturing throughput as well as the quality. Because when things go wrong, it becomes even more difficult to service during this time. So we needed to make sure that we take an extra measure to ensure that the product's quality is improving. So when it actually reaches the customers, it's going to work. And luckily, we have our partners such as you to double check that part before it gets deployed in the customer site, so which actually helps us to provide much better user experience. Another thing that we have realized is, especially dealing with the recent supply chain challenges and whatnot, it becomes very difficult to manage and we have too many products. The best way to do it is we do need to have safety inventory that is bigger than before, especially when it comes to the products that is manufactured by Supermicro. To do that, we have started expanding our warehouse capabilities. So obviously we cannot fit everything in the same location. We have to take new space and put those spare parts there. And we need to figure out ways to bring it to the production in a timely manner. So when the order comes versus when the product leaves, we are going to do that better part of it. And we have seen bigger projects being worked on together, and as we do that, we do need to have our operations and program management to step up in order for us to give better visibility in terms of how the products is produced and how we are meeting the customer's deadlines. Yeah, easier said than done, given all the shortages, but that is the direction that we are going to at least improve the predictability of it. And we have invested resources in supporting the customers better and in enabling the products better, which is requiring us to invest in product management team and solution managers and pre-sales engineering as well as tech support. Because people do need to pick up a phone and call somebody, we want to make sure that it gets answered. Especially, we started seeing some of these multinational companies. They do deploy the products worldwide, and they do need to have a way to reach out to technical support in real time. That was part of the reason. And if you have seen Charles's presentation and what Don mentioned, one of the things is about the rack-level integration and rack-level solutions and total IT solutions, how we do that. I'm going to get into details in a couple of minutes. And most importantly for me, what I felt was as we start looking at the next generation products, the Intel Sapphire Rapids, as Charles mentioned, as well as Geneva from AMD and NVIDIA, Hopper, and all these platforms as they come in, how do we make it available for the customers to test it out so that when you're speccing in for different projects, you do that? We actually have the products based on next generation Intel for a few months already, and we have been providing early access to customers to run some benchmarks and be able to participate in different tenders. And this is only possible because we are able to develop these products well in advance, and we are able to give access to the customers. But we want to improve that by bringing more capabilities in Europe. So those are the ones that we have been working on in terms of our Netherlands facility, especially focusing on EMEA customers. And when I take a look at how do we bring these platforms to that, one of the things that I've been in the company for about 14 years, and over the years, we have improved our relationships and expanded our partnership with the technology partners. And you can see the representation if you have walked in the product area. We have people from Intel, we have people from NVIDIA and AMD. These are the three main partners that we have when it comes to CPU or GPU or other accelerators. And multiple generations of it need to come together, and there is interoperability that we'll be working with. So there's a lot of stuff that is happening on that, and that actually gives us an opportunity to kind of differentiate ourselves from the competition and enable you with the right platforms. Similarly, when it comes to flash and memory, I mean, you're talking about DDR4, going to DDR5 and whatnot, and PCI Gen 5 coming in. So that's another area where we are working closely to validate these on Supermicro platforms for the next generation. Hard disk drives, of course, and connectivity side of it, obviously we are talking about the next generation going to 400 gig and whatnot for for high-speed interconnect, as well as the compatibility backward to ensure that we are able to use the existing network infrastructure in place. Because you think about data centers, they're not going to just change because either Intel or AMD came up with something that supports 400 gig. So we want to make sure that it's actually going to work with that. To do that, we are doing a lot more than before in terms of validating against different switches, going to different interconnectivity and whatnot, to ensure that when the product reaches the customers, it is going to work. And last but not least, the significant effort actually going in managing the relationship with ISVs. This actually enables us to transition into total IT solutions. You guys know absolutely the most about how to integrate, how to enable the customer with the right product. But what we have seen over the last several years is the way the customers are consuming the product is quite a bit different from the past. What does it mean? Earlier it used to be like, okay, give me the system that runs Red Hat Linux with certain VMs on it and whatnot, done. But right now, the really small businesses, much of the business have actually gone into cloud. We all know that. But the cloud-like environment being duplicated on-prem is actually increasing. Especially after pandemic, what we have seen is there is an effort for people to use the hybrid cloud environment where they want to bring some of the infrastructure back on-prem. This actually gives us a huge, let's say, advantage to talk to these customers. But if you just go and tell, hey, I have this system with dual socket and so much memory, it doesn't relate to them. But we need to understand what problem are they trying to solve. But we don't want to just leave you out there without any enablement. So we are investing a lot in getting several ISVs to work with us and provide a solution, which I will go in a few minutes. This actually enables us to read the market and address the market in a proper way. So this slide is actually based on the true data. It's not an artwork. What we have seen is we have a good amount of market share based on our systems through system integrators and whatnot. That is going to continue to be our growth area. But one of the areas that we have seen is the adoption of complete systems is on the rise. But the green part that you're seeing on the top is what we are talking about, total IT solutions. This is important because this is going to be the growth area for all of us. If we just try to move a box, it's going to become very difficult for us to differentiate from the competition. But if you are saying this box along with this software is going to be used for this particular problem that you're having and you can solve it, that brings a huge value prop. You will be the subject matter experts. You will be the go-to guys for the customers to look at. And this is important. And software and services portion, two different ways, right? Like, one is enabling the infrastructure in a data center to be managed and used efficiently. At the same time, we have our partner network, you providing support and service to the customers, and how do we ensure that, depending on the size of the project or type of engagement, how we can be part of it to ensure that you will be successful in the field. This is the latest revenue as of for the last year, fiscal year 22. For the revenue is like $5.2 billion for last year, and you can see about 14% of the revenue is from the EMEA market for us, which translates to around $825 million. And I have not gotten into the details of which portion is total solutions, which is servers and whatnot, but as you heard from Charles's presentation, a big growth came from the AI and ML part of it, right? So which is all the GPU and accelerator product line. A lot of products that we were able to enable the customers with, based on Intel, based on AMD, with the GPUs in that. It also means that when we look at the market share, US predominantly has been the largest, but US market is actually growing quite a bit faster than the European market in the last 1 year for various reasons. Part of it could be the COVID, part of it could be our ability to get in front of customers and getting them the right products and enabling them with the right solutions. So it's important for me to bring it up. I want all of you to engage with your customer base in person if you haven't done it already, and see how we can enable them, because the amount of technology that is going to come in the very near future based on what we are developing with Intel for Sapphire Rapids, with AMD with Geneva, and with NVIDIA on the next generation accelerators, and the accelerators from AMD Intel, as Charles was mentioning. All these things as we bring up, customers as they are trying to spec in, it becomes important for them to understand, oh man, which one should I take? That's where I think you guys are going to come into picture. You can actually tell them this is all the stuff coming in, what are your requirements, what kind of problem are you trying to solve, and how we can enable them to do that. This actually helps the customer, and it also helps us to grow the market share. You heard like so many times, better, faster, greener already. And some of it Don has alluded to, but the way I look at it is not just a slogan. We need to look in each of these categories, what is that we can and what we should and what we have been doing. So if you take a look at the product, if you just say I have the same product as a couple of other competition has, then there is not much of a differentiation. We need to understand how this product is better. Why is someone should be using a Supermicro product through you? I think this is the thing that I want to kind of bring it up here, whether it's a quality, a performance, or the value. Value doesn't necessarily mean cost. It's like, bringing the right solution for the customers at the right time. And while it's difficult, we are working a lot on the serviceability aspect of it. You can understand the complexity of the platforms that are coming into the market, and when it gets deployed, if you need to service it, we want to be able to service it quicker so the customer is happy and you're not spending too many cycles in managing that part of it. And partner ecosystem. So we want to leverage on our channel partners a lot more than our competition does, and we want to enable them better. And when you say better is in those lines. Faster, again, some of these things, one of the things I want to comment about is like the time for solutions. So when someone has a problem, it may take like few weeks or few months or few years. I mean, people don't have infinite time. How do we ensure that we can work with them to get the right solution? And that actually is a time for solutions. Time to market advantage, Supermicro already has. So you think, like I was mentioning, if you want to have a Sapphire Rapids-based platform today, you have it from Supermicro, not one, but several of them. One of our presenters will present afterwards. But the point I'm saying is time to market, how do we convert that into a time for results for the customer so the customer can take advantage of it and say hey, this is all the benefits I can get. So it is important for me to consider this as a potential alternative as I look for my next generation platform. And unless we are on top of the game in understanding our value proposition, it becomes difficult to do that. Greener part of it is definitely something I see more attention being paid to. if you have seen the articles coming in, like, I was talking to somebody in UK, they were saying like the energy price is going to be like 4 times or 5 times. And they're talking about water supply is going to be reduced for the data centers. And overall, when you look at it, the energy crisis is going to force people to think greener, because everyone knows it's good, but unless it has a material impact, people are not going to pay attention to. I do believe that the data centers are going to pay a lot more attention to what you have to say about saving the power consumption in the data center, whether operating the data center at a higher ambient temperature, provide alternate cooling mechanisms and whatnot. All these things that becomes important as you talk to customers and find a way to differentiate. So I mentioned about total IT solutions and ISV relationships. Why it matters is that one of the new categories that I have also added is so-called a solution manager in Supermicro's staff. So what we have done is we work with different software vendors, and we have worked on specific solutions that are not just at the hardware level. So suppose somebody is wanting to do, I want to do an outdoor edge solution. What does it mean? I mean, it's not just the piece of hardware, but which ISVs that they can work with so they can do something. Or a POS terminal for a retail industry. Or you're talking about something to do with software-defined storage. One of the things that we have seen quite a bit is the high-capacity storage that people have a need for, and if somebody puts something in a, let's say Glacier file system and they want to pull the data back, it's so expensive. Web3 storage is something that you could offer as an alternative, which is going to provide much lower cost storage that scales easily and that kind of thing. So all the stuff that you are seeing in terms of different areas, whether it's virtual desktop infrastructure, whether it's big data, all these things, some of them, we actually put the vendor names, software partners' names in front of it. But if you go to supermicro.com and look for the solutions tab, all these solutions are actually listed there. This is a growing list of solutions, and it's evolving. It's not like, okay, we have done, and then let's, forget it. No. All this stuff need to be rinse and repeat for every product transition. So now we have to do this for Sapphire Rapids, we have to do it for Geneva, and we have to make sure that this solution that we are bringing up based on the new technology is actually helpful. So otherwise, what's the point of somebody making that effort to move from one generation to other? Based on our initial testing, it's worth every penny of it. But proof is in the pudding, right? So you need to look at what customers' opportunities are and work with our team. In case if something is not covered here, the team will put effort in bringing and validating the solution. Part of the effort also is because the cost associated with this. Think about the effort that is needed in bringing all this hardware together and then the human resources that is needed and the expertise that is required to do the validation and optimization. So all this thing is something that Supermicro is investing already, and this helps us to transform the company into a total IT solutions company. So we have customers that is going to buy just plain systems, and people who are going to buy bare bones for storage and whatnot, and people are going to buy fully integrated systems at a rack level, or a solution which is a combination of different things, the storage, the compute, the accelerators, the networking and whatnot, with a software piece running on it, the turnkey solution, with liquid cooling potentially. So I'm just saying where the industry is moving, and not all of us will have customers, not all of us will think that it is our core competence, but if we do not understand where the market is moving and where our opportunities could be, it becomes difficult for us to grow. And that's the idea of bringing it together. And again, this is our understanding of how the market is and our understanding of that through you. And if anything more that you have that you could actually let us know that makes us better in terms of product solutions that we can offer, do let us know. What I have tried to do here is I looked at all the different opportunities, all the different deployments that were done in EMEA in the last year. And I tried to put it in different categories. And this one is expanding. When I tried to do this a few years ago, there were 10 or so different areas. But now, when I look at it, I stopped counting that. But a lot of different areas where we have success. Not every one of us have success in every one of these areas because your focus could be HPC, your focus could be data centers, your focus could be automotive industry. In each of these areas, we are seeing a lot more growth. What used to be in automotive, for example, running some LS Dyna or crash simulations and like an open form type of thing for some specific applications with respect to automotive, that is kind of evolving into something more, which is autonomous driving. For autonomous driving, you need a lot more effort and a lot more infrastructure spend that is needed for the companies in order for them to do all kinds of training. So without the trained models, they won't be able to run their cars in an autonomous mode on the roads. So just giving an example, cloud gaming, we have been working with, for example, the leaders such as NVIDIA. And if you take a look at NVIDIA GeForce Now, that is actually powered by Supermicro. And that actually enabled us, several customers, to take it and start deploying it in their own environment with their own applications. So the idea is, if any of these areas is of interest to you, and you think that you want to target those customer base in your geo or in your addressable space, please do talk to us. I mean, you talk to your salesperson, and they will bring the necessary resources from Supermicro to see what is that we could potentially do in order for you to be successful in those verticals. Like I said, there's a lot of things here. Not everyone will go after everything, but we want you to look into, see what is possible for you, and do let us know so we can kind of go from there. This last slide I just added just to kind of give the breadth of product portfolio that Supermicro has. You already know, but this particular one, I kind of took it from end-to-end solutions for two reasons. Number one, when I look on that side, I see the slide from Intel says like from edge to cloud and everywhere in between. Exactly what we are trying to do. And if you look at on the screen here, the advancements in AI, cloud, and 5G and edge infrastructure, same thing. So I thought this slide is more relevant. But if you take the top portion out and you look at the rest of it, effectively what you see is that any industry that you take, depending on where the platforms are going to be deployed, whether it's on the edge, or whether it's in the core, whether it's on the cloud, or anywhere in between, this is the same gear. But the requirements are going to be slightly different. What is that? Some might require a smaller form factor. Some might require a single socket, some dual socket, going all the way to 8 socket. Some could be requiring multi-nodes. Some could be just requiring like a very dense thing, like a super blade type of solutions. So the idea again here is, when we are making our platforms, we want to make sure that these products are going to be relevant to as many different verticals as possible. And we are trying to take specifics from each of these vertical and try to implement. That way, you don't need to necessarily carry like 20 different platforms for a given application or a given vertical, but bringing that flexibility and bringing those options give you a way to enable yourself to go reach the customers much better. Several of these product lines, you can see outside the current generation and the next generation as well. But the idea again here is, now if you flip back and look at the top portion of it, why? Depending on where the customers are going to consume the services on these devices and the requirements with respect to latency or throughput and whatnot, that is yet another way of looking at how these products could be mapped. Because if you take a look at 5G, for example, the infrastructure is all over the place, right? So you need to make sure that that you have the right platform and the right certification. It may need NEBS compliance, for example. Something else may need liquid cooling. Something may require something else. So look into it. Again, if I were to summarize last 15, 20 minutes of what I'm saying is, we are trying to look at the market from our lenses and see what we think is relevant and what we should be doing to ensure that we enable the right products and solutions to our partners and bring the right technology to you and get to our customers. We do need to find a way to differentiate ourselves from the competition in order for us to gain the market share, because that is our core value that has been always the case, and we need to continue that. And last but not least, let's try to engage with as many customers and ensure that we are finding a way to work with them and enable them with the solutions, so it's going to be a win-win situation for all of us. Thank you very much. That's the last slide, and I appreciate all of you being here. And as All of us are going to be here for the rest of the day and some part of tomorrow. Please feel free to get in touch with us, and rest of the show, have fun at it. Thanks.
Nice job, Vic. I'm sure you could tell by just the wealth of knowledge and the enthusiasm and the sense of urgency. Now is the time for us to grow. Better, faster, greener. We are gaining market share, and we'll do it together. Now it's my pleasure to introduce to you our fashion model, and also in his day job, he serves as the Director of Technology. What's the exact title, Jerry?
Director of System Solutions.
Director of System Solutions, to give us an update on some of the product line.
Great.
So,
thank you, Don.
Take it away, Jerry.
Hey, guys. I'm really happy to be here. I have one question for you guys. Are you excited about technology? Let me ask that. Are you excited about technology? Yeah. All right. That's good, because I'm kind of going to give you a technology update. But one of the reasons why I asked this question is that we wouldn't be in this room if we weren't excited about technology. We weren't excited about what we're selling to our customers, because it's part of us. We want to take a look to see what the greatest is. We take pride in terms of the solutions that we provide. And that's true to what Supermicro really presents to you in terms of products that you can sell to your customers. And one thing that we're always committed about is taking what the latest technology, implementing it into our overall product line, and offering you a wide variety of products that you can take and sell to your customers. So if you know Supermicro, which you do, you probably notice our product portfolio is quite large and quite deep. So that's something that we'll continuously improve upon. And with your feedback, if you do happen to have any, please let us know. We're creating like the next generation solutions. So it's something that we can take to heart and try to implement. But again, this is teamwork. It's an evolution, and that's something that we can always think about when we talk about technology itself. So when we do take a look at technology, there's many different types of opportunities. And whether or not those opportunities are you're currently working on, or maybe they're new possibilities where you want your company to go, it's there. And technology will definitely be one of those forefronts that will help you engage and create those opportunities. Some of the explosive growth that we did happen to see over at Supermicro is going to be in the AI, where you see a lot more GPUs being utilized in those particular solutions. So that has been absolutely wonderful for us for deep learning, inferencing, automation, metaverse, and so forth. The next one is HPC, having the combinations of the latest CPUs and GPUs to try to get that fast throughput. Even cloud computing, right? There's many different types of opportunities, and really the key is that Supermicro, we do have to have a solution that you guys can tap into. But when we take a look at technology, what do you guys think about? More power, right? More power equals what? More performance. Hey, everybody's happy, but what's the trade-off? Exactly. Well, money, yes, that's one thing, but also heat. It's going to generate a lot of heat. And that's something that, basically, if you know about Supermicro product lines themselves, we pride ourselves in taking advantage of the latest and greatest and being able to offer you a complete solution to basically handle any different type of configurations that your customer may want. And the first slide I want to talk to you guys about is our optimized thermal designs. And some of the things that you always hear Charles talk about is going to be our direct air cooling. And that's one of the things that we implemented to many of our particular server solutions, where when you buy a Supermicro product and you utilize the latest processors on that particular solution, most of our solutions themselves will support it at the 35C with the standard cooling. In some cases, there might be an upgrade in the heatsink to the vapor chamber, but for the most part, you're going to support the 35C. Now, when there's those type of applications where you're going to have the higher end CPUs and maybe you'll have the latest and greatest GPUs and you're going to have a lot of node density or density within the GPUs itself, obviously the cooling is going to be a major factor. And that's one of the things that I also want to present to you is that, just like what Vic mentioned, liquid cooling is also part of our product portfolio. So if you are looking for air to liquid or liquid to liquid and even immersion, we do happen to have those options. So I encourage you to go to our website, talk to the sales if you do happen to have any inquiries or interest in those particular type of cooling options for the Supermicro product line. Now, in terms of the overall cooling itself, what's something that we kind of know has always been evolving? PCI Express, right? It's nothing new, but one of the things that you can count on is that basically it's about doubling the overall throughput every 3 years. That's the estimation. And that's quite phenomenal because with this increase in overall throughput, now that we're going into Gen 5, currently right now we're on Gen 4, with doubling the throughput itself, you're going to hit 128 gigabytes per second. But the beauty is that it's going to enable a lot more features on the servers themselves. So let me just see really quickly, like how many guys are using NVMe? How many guys are using like accelerators, GPUs, whether they're coming from Intel, NVIDIA, AMD? Yeah, that's great. So a lot of you guys have already implemented this, and you can probably see the benefits that, hey, going to the next generation, what's the latest and greatest? How can I implement this into my overall customer portfolio, right? So that's something that we definitely want to take a look into. So faster throughput, you can have faster networking, just like what Vic mentioned, up to the 400 gigabit, and also basically faster GPUs and FPGAs if the bandwidth is going to exceed that of PCI Express Gen 4. Now, one thing I want to mention is going to be our optimized GPU. So when we talk about GPUs and we talk about densities, you're probably going to say, oh, you're going to gravitate over to the GPU optimized solutions. And that's rightly so. Our GPU optimized solutions are tailored towards a higher density of GPUs within the enclosure itself. So you can either have a 1U, 2U, 4U, so forth. But the key is that with that density of GPUs themselves, just keep in mind, we have other form factors that you guys can tap into. So depending on your customer's requirements, whether they want a higher density GPUs or they want a combination of compute with GPUs and some storage, GPU Optimized is an amazing product line, but we also have other solutions that you guys can tap into as well, such as our rack mounts or even our SuperBlade and Twin solutions. And again, there's many different combinations that you can utilize, and that's the beauty of what Supermicro is offering to you in terms of a solution. One of the award-winning solutions that we do happen to have is our 2U2 node GPU optimized solution. So that's something if you haven't taken a look into, please go to our website. There's also going to be a universal GPU, which is going to take advantage of OAM. So that's going to be a new standard that you're going to see implementing. And also, these particular solutions themselves have been proven. And we used all the latest GPUs, all the latest CPUs, and so forth to really have proven cases when it comes to automation, AI, with deep learning, inferencing, manufacturing. Metaverse was a huge win for us. Financial trading, scientific research. I mean, the list goes on, right? There's so many different type of possibilities that you guys can achieve. One other thing I do want to mention about the GPUs is with our partnership with Intel. Basically, we co-worked with them, we worked together, and we came out with the Intel Data Center Flex GPUs. There's two cards, the 170s and the 140s. These particular cards themselves, Supermicro is going to be the first to market with these particular cards. So if you're interested and want to get your hands on it, definitely talk to the sales rep. We can get you in touch. And just keep in mind, one of the biggest benefits that you do see with this particular card itself is the transcoding optimization. It's going to be the industry's first for the AV1 encoder, okay? So if you're looking for the blazing edge and you want to take a look to see the overall efficiency and the performance gains and stuff, definitely take a look into this. And we have qualified these particular cards on a wide variety of Supermicro platforms. So in this particular case, we do happen to have our 4U 10 GPUs, just because we can slot so many of those cards in the platform. We've seen some amazing performance, but keep in mind, with the size of these particular cards, you can also use it on many other Supermicro platforms. So you're going to see it on Blades, the Twins, other rack mounts like Cloud DC. You'll have a wide variety of solutions that you're going to tap into. And the main market that we're trying to target these particular cards are going to basically be media transcoding, AI inferencing, cloud gaming is huge, just like what Vic just mentioned, as well as virtualization. So you can talk to the Intel reps, talk to us. We'll get you some more information when it does come to the Intel Data Center Flex GPU cards. Now, something else in terms of the PCI Express is going to be CXL. So that's something that you're going to see on the next generation. And the amazing thing about CXL, when I took a look into it, it's really allowing you to optimize your overall platforms. Taking resources, whether it's from the CPU, whether it's memory from the GPU, or even from the memory buffers that you installed into the GPU, depending on where those resources need to go, that's how you can allocate it within the system. And this is really going to optimize. Why? Because you can pull a shared resource when it comes to memory itself. And just keep in mind with CXL, there's 3 types that they currently have on the 1.1 standard, which is going to basically be type 1, accelerators with no memory, or NIC cards, type 2, which is accelerators with memory, and then type 3 is the memory buffers. So you can just imagine, when you have multiple systems, supporting the CXL, and you basically have these resources that are not being utilized, and you need to pull those resources within that node to other places, that's really where this benefit comes into play. So the next generation solutions that are coming out is going to be supporting CXL across the Supermicro platforms, and there's going to be more and more iterations of CXL without the coming of the newer technologies and so forth. The other thing too with PCI Express is storage. So I saw a couple of you guys raise your hands when it comes to storage itself, right? So what can we see with storage? Well, the amazing thing with storage, it has evolved. And one of the things with storage itself, we're seeing a higher increase in overall NVMe drives itself. So what are some of the benefits? Well, we already know with the PCI Express and having the storage or SSD on the PCI Express bus, you're going to get a higher throughput, lower latency, more IOPS. We know all that. With Gen 5, it's going to double all of that, right? But one of the things that I want to bring up to your attention is that other than higher capacities that we do know of, what about the cost, right? Maybe some of you guys have the misconception that, hey, NVMe cost itself, it's high. I kind of don't want to touch that. I'm going to stick with SATA SSDs. Nothing wrong with SATA SSDs, but one thing that you should know is that we already saw sort of like the inflection point of where SATA and NVMe have crossed. And where they crossed in terms of overall sales was back in 2020. And it's still going up for NVMe, so that trend is continuing. But one other trend that I also want to bring you to is the cost parity. So depending on the capacities that you're looking at, if you're looking at the 1 terabyte, the 1.9, 3.8, or even 7.6, that cost parity per gigabyte is pretty much on par or very similar. So, if that's something that you want to take into consideration, definitely take a look into it, okay? And one of the newer form factors is going to basically be E3.S. That's something that people are talking about, and it's something that we're basically surveying, and we're going to implement on a handful of our particular servers, okay? So what's that form factor that you're probably going to be focusing on when it does come to NVMe? Well, most likely it's going to be U.2. U.2 is still going to be the major interface that we're going to be selling and that your consumer or yourselves are going to be consuming. And one thing that we have over at Supermicro is that we promise to give you the highest density that you can within those particular servers when it does come to U.2 NVMe drives. So if you're looking for a higher density up to 24 drives within our rack mount solutions, we have that covered. If you're looking at multi-node, like for instance, if we take a look at the 24 bay big twin 2U2 node, you can have up to 12 of those drives per node. Or if you have the 4-node solution, it's up to 6 drives per node. But it's going to be you a higher density when it comes to rack mounts, multi-node, and even storage. So there might be like our top-loading storage or a high-density storage that use the 3.5s. Well, we also have NVMe enabled in those particular platforms as well too for faster caching. Basically, what I'm trying to tell you guys is that currently on our X12 platform, nearly all our platforms themselves have some form of NVMe U.2 enablement. So if that's something that you guys want to tap into, please take a look into it. A lot of our backplanes on those product lines are fully hybrid. Okay, so really quickly, let's talk about EDSFF. So EDSFF, there's a couple of different form factors. And you guys probably already know about some of the platforms we do have to release on the super storage portion, which is going to cover our petascale solutions. So E1.Ls as well as E1.S, those are common. E3s, we know about it, but you don't see too many solutions out there that support it. Our super storage is going to be coming out with a particular solution itself, where to give you an idea in terms of the form factor, it's very similar to the 2.5. It's thinner, but some of the benefits that you do get with EDSFF is that you'll get better performance and lower latency. And why is that? It's because with EDSFF, you're eliminating the connector, Okay, so that's one portion that you don't have to factor in. And it's plugged directly into the PCI Express bus. And with that said, that's how you're going to get your performance. You can foolproof it with different type of form factors and so forth. But other than that, there's also capabilities where you can optimize the overall thermal. And you'll notice that some EDSFF models themselves have some heat fins or heat spreaders. So there's many different type of designs and concepts coming with this particular form factor. Okay. Another thing that I do want to mention to you guys about, which you guys probably know too, is that with the next generation, we're also going to be looking at DDR5. Nothing special here other than, hey, you're going to have higher frequencies, faster memory, higher capacities, moving from 16 gigabit to 32 gigabit. You can have up to 512 gigabytes per module. So you're going to have a large density of memory that you can incorporate on the overall server solution. And with that higher density, you do have to have power efficiency as well too. The last thing I do want to mention to you guys is about the networking, okay? So with the networking, whether it's the current generation or the next generation, we're always looking to try to push more innovation. And one of those things that we really want to promote is our AIOM, Advanced I/O Module. This is going to allow you to have full flexibility. Like, how many of you guys know about, like, with the Supermicro term, X11 product lines? How many of you guys did the Cascade Lake and Cascade Lake refresh? Some of you guys, hopefully all you guys, right? So you guys know about those lines. Now, how many of you guys are utilizing our Ice Lake or like our X12 or even the H12 solutions right now? What's one thing that you guys noticed about that? Basically, with the product lines themselves, hopefully you guys can appreciate it, but we consolidated a lot of the lines. And one of the reasons why we consolidate or how we were able to do it is because of AIOM. It's because the network is not directly on the motherboard. This allows you the flexibility where you can basically change the onboard networking and standardize on one common building block component, which is that particular motherboard for that particular series itself. So we have a wide variety of networking options. Basically, we go up to 100 gigabit, but coming out is going to basically be the 200 gigabit as well as the 400 gigabit. But one other big benefit with AIOM modules is that it's a superset of OCP 3.0 small form factor, meaning that if you do have to have that, you absolutely love that third-party card that's OCP 3.0 compliant, you can actually take that card, plug it into our Supermicro products that support AIOM, and you're good to go. So it offers you that full network flexibility. So just really quickly, when we do take a look at all these latest technologies, I know this is literally just scratching the surface, and a lot of you guys already know about this, but one of the beauties is that all this different type of feature sets, whether it's going to be the current generation or the next generation, it's encompassed across our whole product portfolio. So just keep in mind, we have an amazing amount of rack mount platforms themselves, and these are really going to be your multi-purpose servers. To give you an example, we have Ultra product lines. And those Ultra product lines themselves is going to give you a lot of great feature sets. It's going to give you a wonderful 1U, 2U form factor that's going to support a DP 32 DIMM platform or 32 DIMMs. You're going to have a variety of storage capabilities as well as expansion. So you can accommodate that in many different opportunities. Hyper is taking that Ultra and then basically making it even more modular so you can optimize that server. Cloud DC is going to basically target more of a cost-effective, but if you haven't taken a look at Cloud DC, you want to take a look at it. Why? Because that's a great mainstream solution offering a DP and a UP 16 DIMM platform with expansion and 2 AIOM modules. So there's a lot of great benefits that we do have to have, as well as MP solutions that allow you to have multiple processors on that rack mount. The other one is going to basically be our multi-node or our blade solutions, which is going to be our resource savings. So this particular case itself, we got our Big Twin, Twin Pro, Fat Twin. Those product lines you're well familiar with. But also, if you haven't heard about it, Grand Twin. That's going to be an amazing solution itself, which is going to basically give you a front I/O, rear I/O, and also a lot of different innovative features that you should definitely take to heart. There's also going to basically be our higher density node solutions themselves with our blade platform. So you got your super blades, your micro blades, and micro clouds. And if you guys want to learn more, please join Bill Chen and Raphael's Intel session. They'll talk about our particular platforms regarding these solutions that I'm mentioning right now. And if you're looking at the AMD platform, basically we have Brennan who can talk about that within his particular session. The other thing too is going to be GPU optimized. So just like what Charles and Vic mentioned, we have basically our next solutions. And in those particular next solutions, you can take a look at the top 4. A-Lock over on the GPU side is going to talk a lot more about what's coming out, what's the new trend. But really, what it comes down to be is that if you're looking for the latest and greatest, you're looking for Hopper, you're looking for Hopper on SXM, or using basically the AMD's MI250s and the Intel PVCs upcoming on OAM, we have solutions designed for those. If you're looking for standard PCI, we have those as well. Basically, we're giving you some of the highest density of GPUs within these particular platforms. So if you do happen to have any questions, please let us know. We can talk more about this. A-Lock's going to have a session in his GPUs that will go into a little bit more detail about these particular product lines. Storage, we have Paul McLeod, and storage is really, really, pushing the boundaries when it comes to innovation. So we have our standard top loading, which is the 45, 60, 90 base solution. You have the simply double within the 2 use or the 1 use to double the overall densities. You even have the enterprise optimized, which is a combination of some storage and compute. But one thing I did want to mention to you guys is the petascale. So the petascale is definitely going to give you a higher density of drives within a 1U form factor. But I also mentioned about that E3.S. So if you're interested in those particular ones, talk with Paul. What we have planned is coming out with a 2U32 module E3.S type of solution. So that's going to be pretty amazing itself. And last but not least, it's embedded IoT. And we got Jeff from the stateside to talk a little bit more detailed about edge computing. And with edge computing itself, there's many different solutions that we have to offer to you, and it's a hot market. So if you're looking at CPU, GPU, and the standard rack mounts, we have that. If you're looking for those specialized small form factor solutions with the CPU and GPU, or even more appliance-like solutions for extreme heat, fanless, fan design, we have all those solutions readily available. Jeff's going to cover that in his session, and he's going to talk more about edge computing. One last thing I do want to mention to you guys about is with all this amazing hardware technology implemented to our solutions, we want to offer the full package, because over at Supermicro, not only are we working with software partners, but we're also pushing what we can do in terms of overall management. How can we make it easier for you? So one thing I do want to encourage you guys to is take a look at our Super Cloud Composer. We have someone from Taiwan, James Shi, who can basically talk a little bit more detail, and he'll also have a live demo for you guys over at the booth. So I'm going to wrap it up right now. One of the things I do want to mention to you guys, just like what Vic mentioned, if you guys are looking for the current gen solutions, no problem. We have that covered. If you're looking for the latest gens, you want to do POCs, you want to talk shop in terms of the details, how can we work with your customers, and so forth, we have that covered as well too. The key is that you guys need to just talk with us, talk with yourselves, engage as much as possible, get our mind share so that we can basically help promote, have a solution for you. And one last thing, just like what Don mentioned, we're committed, but the key thing is we're committed to being your partner. So this won't work if we don't work together. So we talked about amazing product lines, we talked about amazing technology, we have solutions. With the partnership itself, let's go out there and sell more servers and see what else we can do. Okay? All right, thank you.
All right, great job, Jerry. I love Jerry's enthusiasm. Every time he presents, it's like, I want to look up more and find out more about some of the new technology. So again, search for the folks that are wearing the Supermicro jerseys or polo shirts. Those are the ones that are typically a product manager or in marketing. And of course, work with your salesperson. Get really close to your salespeople, and they can help bring in the right resources. So at this time, I'd like to introduce the head of Supermicro Marketing and Network Security, Michael McNerney. Michael, come on up.
All right, thank you, Don. And thank you, Jerry, again, for showing up. I always drag Jerry to all these events, and he always complains, Michael, I don't want to go to Europe. But it gives a great vision of the portfolio, gives a great overview of what we're doing, and hope you guys can all enjoy that. So I was here today to talk about Total IT Solutions. And as I started thinking about presenting this, what I wanted to do is maybe take a little bit of a step back and say, why are we always talking about Total IT Solutions? Why are we trying to move in this direction as a company, and where are we headed? Let's see if I can go backwards. So cloud, right? It's kind of a obvious slide, if you will, right? So around this total IT solution space, about this adoption of cloud as an overall architecture. And I see this in two ways. One is the sort of universal adoption of cloud across every vertical, right? So every vertical moving towards cloud-based architectures, every new application is being built out in a cloud-based architecture. But what's interesting about this is every single one of those vertical clouds is slightly different, right? So the cloud you're building for media and entertainment is a lot different than the cloud you're building for telecom or the cloud you're building for healthcare. But they're all considered these sort of open cloud architectures, but using these different optimized technologies to build out those infrastructures. And that's really sort of the beauty of this sort of total IT solution is how do we build those cloud architectures for these different industries? And then obviously I've got this sort of obvious growth slide in cloud up and to the right. Everyone is seeing cloud growth. So this overwhelming adoption of cloud architectures, the overwhelming growth of cloud is really what's sort of driving this cloud adoption. So then, but what kind of cloud, right? So there's a lot of different sort of cloud implementations. We'll talk about on-prem, colo, infrastructure as a service, platform as a service, and finally, software as a service. And where are these different applications? I actually stole this little slide, the little chart here from Red Hat. That's why the boxes are red. I added a management layer on top because essentially, no matter where your cloud is, you still got to manage it, and the management is complex. But ultimately, when you look at these different stacks, it's almost like a traditional outsourcing question. Okay, where am I going to adopt my cloud? Where is it going to go? It's first question, compliance. Can I do it, right? Can I take my cloud outside of my country? Do I have data sovereignty issues? What's the cost? Is it going to be cheaper for me to deploy a cloud on-prem, deploy it in the cloud? What's the performance? And then there's the strategic element of it, right? So is this going to give me a competitive advantage? If I move everything to the cloud, am I going to be able to move faster? Am I going to be able to innovate faster? Where is this in terms of competitive threats, right? Does this make me more competitive, less competitive? And then let's admit it, there's an opportunity cost. If I'm going to go out there and build my own cloud, that means I'm not doing something else. And actually, it's not a trivial effort to sort of build that cloud architecture out, as we all know. So why do people deploy on-prem? So we did this white paper a while ago with IDC where we interviewed a couple of our larger customers. I think it was the Intel IT team, Twitter, and PFN, who's a research institute in Japan, and said, what's driving your decision to deploy on-prem versus deploy in public cloud? And it came down to these three core issues: control, cost, and predictability. Control was, I need to be able to design a cloud that's exactly built for my workload, right? Not something that kind of supports my workload, not an average configuration, but the exact configuration that's optimized for my workload. The second piece was cost. Again, I can operate this infrastructure at a lower cost because I understand my workload. I'm building the system exactly that I need. I don't have extra features. I don't have additional features. I just have the features I need. And then finally, this predictability side, right? So as I mentioned, sort of this management layer that sits across all these clouds, there's still this issue of I've got to deliver a service to my organization, and I need to be able to do that predictably. And so when I'm building that in-house and I control those design features, I control those costs, CapEx versus OpEx, I understand what I'm spending, I understand where that's going. So that was really sort of the drivers of why people were going on-prem and what they were doing to be on-prem. And cost is really the interesting one, right? So in marketing, I'm the marketing guy, right? We're always taught never mention cost, right? It's always about features, it's always about benefits, but IT decisions, kind of the dominant factor continues to be cost. If I can deploy a lower cost solution, I'm going to figure out how to make that work. If I can deploy my infrastructure at a lower cost than my competitor, I can be more effective, I can grow faster, I can charge less. And again, on the cost side, and I used the same chart that I used on slide 1 in terms of showing sort of the increased growth of cloud. And this chart's a little bit old. It's 2020. And it's a paper I really like. If you guys ever want to look at it, it's called Cost of Cloud. A group called ADC16 wrote it about the cost of public versus private cloud. And this is their quote up there where they're saying, essentially, if you're operating at scale, the cost of cloud can at least double running in a public cloud versus on-prem. Right? That's an amazing number, right? Double. Okay, well, there's one attitude. Walmart, there's actually a Wall Street Journal article recently that came out, and Walmart was talking about how they were taking stuff off of public cloud and moving to more of a hybrid model. And they're saying they're going to drive about 20% of their costs down by taking that model and improve predictability, right? And then finally, this sort of the survey about just predictable costs, right? You guys have all heard this about data ingress, data egress charges. How much is that cost what's that gonna cost me? If I take a big twin with 4 nodes, 48 cores, I deploy that, I have a fixed cost. I'm running that same implementation in the cloud. What are those costs? Should those costs go up over time? How does that work? And so you really see this sort of cost factor, cost of public cloud. There's this tremendous opportunity for us, for Supermicro, to be driving this value of on-prem cloud and helping our customers achieve that, right? And these numbers are big. So when a lot of people will come to me and say, well, Michael, give me some tools or something I can show my customer, is, just go pencil it out. If this number is true from the AZ16 guys and the cost of public cloud is double, that's got to show up pretty quickly. And if it doesn't, then their numbers aren't right. And one of the things we saw was interesting on this number was repatriation numbers, right? So similar, when we were working with IDC, they actually pulled this quote out of one of their research. They said, oh yeah, on-prem cloud, we've heard about this, Supermicro, turns out we did this survey a while ago where they talked to 2,300 different customers, and 71%, in marketing, you don't get 71% very often. That's a nice number. 71% of the people interviewed were moving workloads back from public cloud. They're saying, yes, I've got this up, I've got it running. I'm going to move that back on-prem for better cost, better control, right? That's a huge number, right? So this is this opportunity. There's this cost recognition. Cost is the major side of the major driver of all these IT decisions. It seems like we're in a great space, right? We got cost on our side. And then so we show up with, we got this broader portfolio, right? We've got this amazing toolkit of servers that Jerry's talked about a little bit. You'll hear a lot from the different PMs. We've got boxes that are optimized for cloud, boxes optimized for accelerated computing. Taking all of these pieces and putting them together to build those vertical clouds is what everyone in this room is here to do. This is what we're talking about when we talk about total IT solutions. Bringing these things together and saying, okay, well, what kind of cloud do you need, right? Even within this cloud, Jerry talked about it. We have different styles of rack mount servers. Everyone always wants the best performance all the time. Actually not. Sometimes I want a mid-range performance, or I even want low-end performance for certain workloads. We have those options. We have this toolkit of servers that you're able to leverage from and build. I just took this as an example, right? So this is in the GPU product line. We have these 4 different servers. There's a 4U Delta server, 8 GPU, 4U, 5U Universal GPU server, 2U Redstone server, 4U GPU. This is just one small subset of our product line. And as you're here today, and as you're going through, talk to the customers, talk to the PMs about why do I choose these different systems? Hang on, do I need 8 GPUs? Do I need 4 GPUs? What's the right size? Being able to build out these vertical clouds, you really need to understand the difference between these systems. Hey, I can use this 2U 4 GPU system if I'm really shooting for density. I'm maybe not using the highest power GPUs, CPUs. I'm really sort of optimized for the density piece. Where do I use the universal GPU systems? Where I'm looking at, I want to look at more vendor, I want to use multi-vendor GPU solutions. I want to run at higher TDPs. I'm more worried about future-proof. There's a decision here, and there's a decision in this product line. In this slide, and I think I got some of these things right, or most of these things right, this is a small microcosm of the portfolio. So as you go out there today, This same sort of decision matrix exists for storage, it exists for edge, it exists for compute. So really leveraging today, spend time in the lobby out here today, spend time in the sessions. You've really got to be able to understand this to build these optimized solutions for your cloud, right? So that's the good news. And I can safely say, as someone who's been in the technology industry for quite a while, I love the build your own infrastructure model, right? I love tools, I love a toolbox, I love putting things together. But I think we have to understand what the competition is out there. So we've got the cost problem solved, but do we have the convenience, right? Do we deliver the convenience that customers are seeing in public cloud versus our on-prem or our deployed solutions, right? And again, I love it. I love buying a tool. My wife gives me a specific Home Depot budget that I can't exceed. But the other vendors, or the public cloud solution is simply infrastructure on demand. And how do we combat that, right? What's the value of that convenience? And how do we deliver that? How do we deploy it? Is really sort of the big question we have to answer. And the challenge here, and I'll go back, I really like this AZ16 article, but they essentially said, start out on public cloud if you're a startup, but then move to on-prem as you scale. This is really sort of one of those red pill, blue pill decisions. If you take the red pill, it's really hard to get off of it, right? Once you start scaling in the public cloud, it's really hard to say, I'm just going to go build a scalable infrastructure. How many of you guys enjoyed sort of the airline industry trying to rescale to get up to their capacity? It's not very easy to do, right? So once you buy into a particular architecture, it's really hard to change in flight from one architecture to the other. So we have to provide this cloud convenience while we're providing and delivering the superior performance, superior cost. So that's really the trick here, is how do we take what today we're selling in sort of these bit pieces and sell it as a total solution, sell it as this sort of turnkey data center. And that's really why when you see Supermicro sort of pushing this total IT solution, it isn't about taking more of the revenue, it isn't about taking certain things, it's about providing that cloud convenience to the customer. This is really where we have to get. And so we've started developing and deploying out what we call total IT solutions. So fully integrated, fully tested, globally supported, rack-based solutions. You'll see more about this as the market sort of evolves for these things. We have a sort of proven process for doing that, from design, assembly, configuration, testing, logistics. We've built out some of the largest clouds in the world in AI, social media, finance, et cetera, using this deployment architecture, and we're deploying it out to this market. And as we approach this, I'm sure a lot of people in the room are saying, hey, this is what we do. This is our value to Supermicro. And we absolutely agree, right? And so what we talk about here isn't necessarily, we're trying to take business away from channel or do something like this. We have to meet this as the customer need. This has to be the customer entry point. We deliver a total solution to you. It's integrated, it's tested, et cetera. And if we don't do that, we think we're missing the market, right? And we're opening this opportunity of like, hey, don't you want to see my toolbox? And someone's like, no, I want an infrastructure, right? So how do we do that? Here's a number of success cases. A lot of obviously the research institutes are building out these larger scale sort of clusters. They are more, how would I say, they are more open to sort of sharing what they're doing. A lot of the larger public companies we've built out these clusters for, they aren't so happy about sharing information, but I'm sure you've all used them today on your phones as you've sort of come in. And then the final piece I wanted to share with you is we're sort of moving this up. So we have this thing coming, which we call our Gold Series. And so I talked a little bit about the airline industry and trying to scale up, and hey, every server should scale and every school server should work to do these things. But what we're going to do is we're actually going to take the proven solutions, the solutions and systems and configurations that we've deployed in the thousands and hundreds of thousands to specific customers, and make those available to customers. right? To make those available to you to sell to your customers. So if you want to know what our best autonomous driving configuration looks like, that's been proven out, deployed, and run at the massive scale that won't be matched, you can get that through these Gold Series solutions. This is something that's coming along. So again, taking these copy exact configurations, making them available to you as Gold Series, you'll know these are proven, you'll know they've been hardened, the PCI cards are in the right slots, it's the right memory configurations, the heat, the power and cooling has all been figured out. All of the network connectivity, the BIOS versions, all these pieces have been kind of configured out in these golden solutions. And we're going to start out with a set of about 8 of them. You'll see these come out here over the next couple weeks, couple months. But really look for these. Not only are they supposed to scale, they have scaled, and they've really proven of what they're going. So that's kind of it. That's the total IT solutions. This is why we think total IT solutions are important. I think as you work through your customers about where they're going, they're going to adopt these different models, right? I'm a software as a service for these more business-oriented applications. What's core to my business? That's what I want to build on-prem. That's what I want to scale. That's what I want to do. So that was really, that was it for me. I just wanted to thank everyone, and I don't know if Dawn is here to.
I'm here. Big round of applause for Michael. Nice job, Michael. The golden solutions really is a key thing going forward. So thanks. We got to hear about some growth plans in Europe from Vic, technology updates from Jerry, and some new exciting total solutions, total IT solutions, including golden solutions from Michael. So with that, amazingly, thanks to our marketing team, we're pretty much on schedule. Thanks, guys. We will take a light break, go to the tech showcase, and then we will start the breakout session.